The Board of Athens County Commissioners takes a stand against a bobcat hunting season. And local taxpayers could save money by reducing their carbon footprint.
And in sports, the Columbus Blue Jackets are 2 games away from history. See how they've survived in the playoffs so far. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Athens County Commissioners is opposing Ohio Division of Wildlife's proposed bobcat trap kill season. Good evening, I'm Chelsea Sick. Thanks for joining us. The board proposed a resolution last week stating several reasons they are against bobcat hunting. One concern says the bobcat was taken off the threatened and endangered list just 4 years ago. ODNR also changed a rule stating public notification will only happen on their website instead of in the county newspaper of record. The board says a number of people in Athens County do not have internet service and depend on the newspaper for legal notices. The state prison system has chosen 15 entities to possibly own the former Hocking Correctional Facility. The Athens Messenger reports the corrections facility future use team chose both public and private agencies for consideration. The agencies include Ohio University, Hocking College, Athens County Commissioners, and other law and health enforcement groups. This comes after the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections asked for businesses to express interest in the property by March 30th. Athens City Council members are voicing their support for increased gun legislation. City Council members passed a resolution 7-2 at last night's meeting supporting more gun control. Council members are calling on state and federal representatives to pass legislation banning military-grade weapons, making the legal age to buy a gun 21. The resolution supports more requirements for universal background checks as well as increased funding to the CDC to research gun violence. Let's take a look.
Welcome into the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm your forecaster, Blake Hardesty. It was another chilly day here in Athens today. Really cold, really blustery as you went about your night tonight. Looking at current temperatures right now in Athens, looking at 45 degrees for the temperature right now. As we go about the evening tonight, lots of cloudiness out there too. Temperatures will be dropping pretty sharply overnight tonight into the overnight hours. Looking at some possible rain as we move into the overnight hours into tomorrow as well. As we look around the region, looking at 45 here in Athens, 42 in New Lexington, 41 over in Cambridge, and 52 over in Ironton for our warm spot today. Look, hour by hour tonight in Athens, looking at 44 degrees at 8 p.m. That snow begins to taper off. 36 by midnight. Wind starting to calm down finally after the really blustery day. And by 4 a.m. tomorrow, it's going to be 32 degrees. It's going to be another cold morning, so make sure you grab that jacket as you're going about your day tomorrow morning.
All right, thanks, Blake. Some Kentucky teachers are still unhappy with Governor Matt Bevin over comments he made about the sexual abuse of children. Bevin apologized on Sunday for remarks he made on Friday when he said due to teachers striking, some children left at home could be molested. Many teachers took issue with the equation of a teachers' rally in Frankfort to children being sexually assaulted.
We are all here today to address Governor Bevin's disturbing comments that were made late Friday afternoon. I and many others do not accept the governor's apology. A real apology includes the words, "I was wrong," and his did not. The fight that I and many others have been engaged in this legislative session has always been about much more than just pensions. It's been about the all-out assault on our public schools, an assault that has been spearheaded by our governor.
Kentucky schools reopened last Monday after the school funding budget bill passed. The trial is underway for a West Virginia woman accused of killing her 3-year-old daughter. Leslie Rubin takes us inside the courtroom in Lewis County.
Keep that secret any longer. They needed to make it right with God. and they wanted to bring justice to Aaliyah.
A secret, prosecutors say Lena Lunsford made her two daughters, who were 9 and 11 at the time, keep in fear she would hurt them if they told.
So those girls came forward to tell their story.
The mystery of who that witness was that led to what investigators called the big break in the case in 2016 revealed during day one of Lunsford's trial. Her daughter, now 15, telling the court that she was the one who revealed to her adopted dad that she knew what happened to her sister.
She said, "Dad, I know what happened to Aaliyah, and she's dead."
The girl, whose older sister is also expected to testify, telling jurors that she watched her mother hit Aaliyah in the head with a broken bedboard slat, causing the girl to not be able to stand up. Aaliyah then forced to stay in the corner before her sisters put her to bed, recalling that her head felt squishy. The next morning, they say she was unresponsive.
The girls tell her that she needs to call 911. Lena refuses to call 911. She refuses to call anyone.
Instead, the daughter says her mother put Aaliyah's body in a laundry basket full of clothes and drove her to a remote area of Lewis County.
And Lena went up into the woods out of her sight with a hamper. And after a short period of time, she returned with a hamper, but without Aaliyah's body.
The prosecutor telling the jury to keep in mind that the fact that a murderer can successfully dispose of the body of a victim does not entitle him to an acquittal. But Lunsford's attorney had just one message for them ahead of a trial that could bring more than 60 witnesses.
You've got to keep an open mind. What Miss Lunsford did about 6 years ago does not amount to anything that she's been indicted for in this case.
In Weston, Leslie Rubin, Eyewitness News.
The trial could last up to 2 weeks. More than 60 witnesses will take the stand. Solar energy is on the rise in Southeast Ohio with no sign of stopping. See how local officials are making green energy a priority. This story and more when Newswatch returns.
We are here for the same reason, although I suspect we hope for different results.
You know what they say, yeah, the wicked get no rest.
I do not admire you for this.
Looking at my heart in a place.
It's always sex, isn't it?
Got so much to lose.
Love.
So much to prove.
Poor judgment.
We are not amused.
God. Trouble on my left, trouble on my right. I've been facing trouble on my side.
This is how you'll be a man.
Are you becoming squeamish?
Oh, God, your mother's here.
The lesbians. They're getting married. You're having a great time.
God, don't let me lose my mind.
Come and play with us.
Onward and onward!
Good ideas open up a whole new world of possibilities.
The more you know about history, the more you know about yourself.
The sky is the limit.
Where I go, there you are.
Renewable energy is now more accessible and affordable than ever here in Southeast Ohio. Newswatch reporter Lily Bradley examines what local communities are doing to reduce their carbon footprint, saving taxpayer money in the process.
I've got two 6.5-year-old daughters, and I'm always looking to them like, I've got to leave this planet in a somewhat better shape than, I picked it up And I'll tell you what, in the 1960s,
Athens Mayor Steve Patterson is vice chair of the Southeast Ohio Public Energy Council, or SOPEC. He's optimistic about the future of renewable energy in his city.
we're always evolving and doing better. And I think for the city of Athens, that's part of our charge too, is to always do better, strive to be better, and reduce carbon emissions.
According to Athens City Planner Paul Logue, energy consumption has been a top priority of the city for years and led to the creation of the Athens Sustainability Plan.
Energy is a really important one because we're concerned about the carbon emissions into our environment.
One of the ways in which Logue believes the city can improve is through solar.
Solar being the most obvious in Athens because we have solar exposure about as good in Athens as almost anywhere else in the world.
The goal is to reduce residential and municipal energy consumption from the grid by 20%. According to Logue, Athens has a solar exposure of about 85%. To put that into perspective, that's just a 15-point difference than Miami, Florida. Let's take a closer look at how solar works. When exposed to daylight, solar panels produce an electric current. That current is then passed through a device called an inverter. The inverter enables you to power your home, business, and school. When the system makes more power than needed, the excess goes out to the utility grid for a credit. Currently, renewable energy resources supply slightly more than 2% of Ohio's net electricity generation. More than 164 megawatts of solar have been installed across the state. Yet solar itself only accounts for 0.21% of the state's electricity. Early last month, Athens City Council unanimously approved a plan to place an opt-out carbon tax on the ballot for voters in May. It would allow residents to voluntarily pay a small fee, about $2 a month, for their energy use. The new program would use that money to invest in renewable sources, which include the installation of solar energy systems on city and local buildings, according to Upgrade Ohio's Matthew Roberts.
Would you like to add a little bit of charge, for the price of less than a cup of coffee per month to help build solar in your community?
Upgrade Ohio, one of SOPEC's partners, aims to connect communities and people with local resources to reduce their energy use.
This fee will be attached to the energy that you use. So the less you use, the less of the fee you will pay. So it is an incentive to be more energy efficient if you want to pay less of that fee.
Mayor Patterson is active with SOPEC and Upgrade because they offer public services and programs to help communities, like Athens, ensure they're using their energy efficiently.
We're always thinking about different possibilities for driving down not only our carbon footprint, but also driving down our energy costs because we're not utilizing as much energy off the grid. We're behind the meter using our own.
Currently, SOPEC partners with 4 area communities in both Perry and Athens County. In addition to the city of Athens, SOPEC works closely with the village of Amesville. Gary Gooseman is the mayor of Amesville. Like Patterson, he serves on SOPEC's board of directors.
It was a challenge to get residents in and around Amesville to conserve energy in a number of different ways.
Gooseman highlights the importance of his partnership.
Often Southeast Ohio gets ignored in Columbus by the legislature because the majority of emphasis is on urban environments, the urban areas, and the problems they have. So we found that it gave us a unified voice to talk about issues.
Last year, SOPEC's 4 community partners received national bronze recognition for their dedication to making their communities solar friendly.
We look at ways in which we can better streamline solar installation in the residential neighborhoods for the city residents.
But they aren't stopping there.
We will try to become a silver level Soul Smart city.
A goal in part echoed by Gooseman.
Ideally, yeah, silver and gold level would be great.
The U.S. Department of Energy funds the Soul Smart recognition program, which also includes some grant money to support solar energy projects.
The city of Athens is looking at a number of different ways to drive down our carbon footprint while saving money in the long run. One of those ideas, according to Mayor Patterson, is to put solar panels here on the 6th floor of the Athens parking garage.
According to SOPEC Executive Director Eddie Smith, out of all 88 counties across the state, Athens County has the most solar installations by population.
And that's where the whole community solar side came from, right? So we said we'll create a community solar program that gets funded out of any revenues that get levied from this carbon fee. And so the initial goal was not to go in and put solar panels on rooftops of public buildings. It was, how do we create an economy that has appropriate price signals given the damages associated with our current energy consumption? The latent unintended outcome here, though, was this community solar program that everyone's getting really excited about.
According to the U.S. Office of Energy Efficiency, back in 2015, renewable technologies accounted for more than 60% of new electricity, and the numbers are only growing. Solar capacity increased by 36%, accounting for roughly half of all renewable projects completed during the following year. The best part? While the technology has risen, prices have fallen. Since 2008, the cost of utility-scale solar projects has decreased by nearly 70%, and the cost of distributed rooftop arrays have been reduced by over 50%. There are 268 companies in Ohio providing jobs in the solar industry, including 4 here in Athens County. Jeff Greenfield is the founder of Third Sun Solar here in Athens.
Today, if you look at the per capita solar ownership, Athens County is the highest in the state, which is fantastic.
To Greenfield, the most important economic benefit of clean energy is the jobs it creates.
Clean energy employs more people than Google and Apple combined. Yeah, people are blown away by that. We're the future. We're growth.
Experts urge consumers to do their research before buying. They suggest people review their electric bills and evaluate sunlight exposure to be sure that the switch is possible.
We have some snow moving out of the area finally tonight, as we have a WOUB meeting coming up tomorrow. We have some nice warm temperatures coming in, and some rain and some more snow coming into the next couple of days. I have more details about that coming up next. But first, here's a look at stocks of local interest.
I don't mind saying it.
Now you look like an astronaut.
My dream is to walk on the moon.
2, 1.
Look at this place.
It's a crazy design.
It's nearly impossible.
What is the next step toward furthering our presence in the cosmos?
That was something.
Oh, this is incredible.
Very, very scary.
Reality is always more unbelievable than anything we could have imagined.
We're literally on the cutting edge.
Unreal.
Hi, I'm Hari Srinivasan from the PBS NewsHour.
And I'm Mark Brewer from WOUB.
Join me on PBS NewsHour and PBS NewsHour Weekend for the latest news and analysis of the issues that matter most to you.
Weeknights at 7 p.m. and Sundays at 5 right here on WOUB Public Media.
Welcome into the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm your forecaster, Blake Hardesty. It was a cold and breezy day out there today in Athens. Right now we're looking at 45 degrees for our temperatures. As under cloudy skies, a few passing flurries are still passing through the area. Those are going to be making their way out of the area overnight tonight. And will it ever be warm again? That's the big question everyone's been asking. I have more details about that coming up next. Right now, the winds out of the west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. As we take a look across the region right now, we have 45 here in Athens. 52 is our warm spot down in Ironton. And 41 over in Cambridge, and cloudy skies across the region as those clouds begin to push out overnight. Today for a high, we reached 36 degrees, which is much lower than a normal of 65. And again, 10 degrees lower than a normal for our low, 32 today here in Athens, where our regular is 42 degrees. Tonight in Athens, looking at 32 degrees for our low, another cold night, so make sure you watch those plants, cover them up if you have to. They can be really damaged and even killed in these cold temperatures. The snow does begin to move out overnight tonight as we make way for a nicer day tomorrow evening. Winds tonight out of the south at 0 to 5 miles per hour. Looking hour by hour tonight, looking at 44 by 8 p.m. tonight. Those temperatures are going to be dropping off really quickly. 36 by midnight as those clouds start to clear out for a little bit of day tomorrow. And another cold morning at 32 degrees by 4 a.m. That cold is temporary though. We have a little bit of warm temperature coming in. More details about that here in a few minutes. Overnight lows tonight, again 32 in Athens, 38 in Ireton, 32 in Chillicothe, and 29 up in Cambridge. So another cold night as we go about today, overnight. Hour by hour tomorrow morning, 35 degrees for the bus stop forecast for those kids. Make sure they grab their jackets. It's going to be a cold evening. It does warm up to 51 degrees by tomorrow. Those clouds start to increase again. And 4 p.m. tomorrow, we're looking at 64 degrees. Warm, but rain is going to be possible tomorrow night. So here's a precipcast. We have this low pressure system here that's going to be moving off to the northeast. And right now, we're above this warm front. This warm front is going to bring us that warm temperature tomorrow. As we move tomorrow evening, we have a little bit of rain coming into the area, followed by some snow behind it. As we get to the other side of this cold front, it's going to cool things back down once again. So tomorrow in Athens, high temperature 64 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Warm, pleasant evening, but we have some snow, some rain, and possible snow flurries again in the forecast as well. For the high temperatures tomorrow, look at 64 degrees in Athens, 72 down in Ireton. Nice day over in Ireton. Under mostly cloudy skies, some sun finally peeking through there. 60 in New Lexington, and 58 over for the folks over in Cambridge. As we look at the extended forecast, here's that rain I was talking about moving in on Thursday. Looking at 50 degrees as we go through the day on Thursday. But look, there's plenty of sunshine as we go through the next couple of days. 65 by the Sunday for the weekend. Going to be a nice, lovely weekend as we go about next week. Nick, over to you for sports.
Good evening, everybody. I am Nick Niehaus with sports. The OU baseball team was in action this afternoon against the Marshall Thundering Herd. Coming up, I'll recap how they fared. And the Cincinnati Reds bats were red hot last night against the Brewers. See how they were able to get their third win on the season. That and more coming up next on Newswatch. Yeah, so the Marshall, they went to Huntington today. They traveled, they faced off against the Marshall Thundering Herd. They will have a home and home. Now here's a look at what's coming up against tonight on your public television station.
Feel my face anymore.
You're doing good. You're just a little slow.
Welcome to madness.
I'm expecting the unexpected. The chicken feet really put me in a foul mood.
Join us for Family Ingredients Season 2.
Show me your mayonnaise, and I'll tell you who you are.
I can't wait to have a taste.
Now that's crispy.
Hello, I'm Paula Kerger, president of PBS. I'd like to tell you about a terrific new membership benefit called PBS Passport. With a qualifying donation, Passport brings more than 1,000 hours of great PBS and local programming to your computer, phone, or digital media player. You can catch up on shows you may have missed or revisit some of your favorites. The best part is that you can watch whenever you want. When you make your qualifying donation, you'll help to make all of the programs you love on this station possible, so don't delay. I know that you're going to love PBS Passport, so please make that donation right now. And thank you for your support.
Welcome back. I'm Nick Niehaus. As I mentioned earlier, the Ohio baseball team traveled to Huntington, West Virginia today for their first game in a home-and-home series against the Marshall Thundering Herd. The Bobcats fell in their first game of the series today 6-2. Sophomore catcher Tanner Peachnick gave the Bobcats hope in the second inning with a solo home run, putting the Bobcats up 1-0 early, but that early lead would not hold up for long, however, as Marshall hit a 3-run bomb in the bottom of the second, and they never looked back. They took this one 6-2, and the Bobcats, they'll look to bounce back tomorrow when they host Marshall at 6 o'clock at Bob Wrenn Stadium. So the OU baseball team, they had a chance at a road win today, but the Ohio softball team has to wait another 24 hours before they hit the diamond. They were set to face off against Ohio State today in Columbus for a doubleheader, but due to weather, it has been postponed until tomorrow. Instead, they will play one game in place of tomorrow's already scheduled game that they will not be making up. Now moving back to baseball, well, for the Cincinnati Reds fans, it's the little things that get you excited. Yesterday's 10-4 win against the Brewers, it was big enough. Now they had snapped that 8-game losing streak, my apologies. Now future hopeful ace for the Reds, Luis Castillo, was on the mound, and he shined for 6 innings of scoreless, 2-hit baseball. But things got shaky in the 7th with Castillo giving up 4 earned runs. But the Reds bats, they were finally clicking for the first time in a while. Billy Hamilton drove in 3 runs and Duvall notched 3 hits. And it's their 3rd win on the season. They look to go back-to-back tonight against the Brewers at 7:40. Sticking to this baseball theme, the Cleveland Indians are finally playing tonight after 3 days of rest due to games being postponed. They'll be facing off against the Minnesota Twins in a short 2-game road series, but this series isn't like any other one. It is going to be played in Puerto Rico, which is a homecoming for Indian star Francisco Lindor, among other Indians. The MLB said that this game is a way of giving back to the community that has produced so many MLB players in the past. On the mound for the Indians is ace Corey Kluber, who is 1-1 on the year. First pitch for tonight's game is at 7:10. Last Sunday, the Indiana Pacers shocked the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first game of the first round, defeating them 98-80. LeBron James, who was criticized for not taking a bigger offensive role, had previously swept every team in the first round from 2013 to 2017, winning 21 straight first-round games. LeBron and the Cavs will get a chance to bounce back tomorrow night when Game 2 heads back to Quicken Loans Arena, and LeBron wants everyone to know that he's not worried.
I'm down 0-1 in the first round. I was down 3-1 in the finals, so I'm the last guy to ask about how you going to feel the next couple of days.
We'll see if LeBron can get it done on the hardwood, but switching over to the ice, the Columbus Blue Jackets are inching their way towards history. The franchise began in year 2000 and has never won a playoff series, but they're currently up 2-0 on the Washington Capitals, winning both games coming from behind and with game-winning goals in OT. Better news for Jackets fans is that they are heading home for the home stretch. The Jackets face off against Washington tonight in Columbus to try to get that 3-0 series lead, which we know we don't see teams come back from very often. Puck drop for tonight's game is at 7:30. It's going to be an exciting few hours ahead for Jackets fans. I'm Nick Niehaus, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Blake.
Thanks, Nick. It was a cold day in Athens today. You might be wondering when this cold weather might be moving out. I have that coming up next here for you. Right now in Athens, looking at 32 degrees. Make sure you cover those planes up that they could be damaged in this cold weather. So we have some snow moving in for the next couple of days. We could have some rain and snow showers overnight tomorrow night, but before that, 64 tomorrow in Athens for the high temperatures. It's going to be a warm and pleasant evening, so get out and enjoy it before it all goes away again. But look at the sunshine for the next couple of days. For the weekend, 65 degrees on Sunday for a nice, pleasant week next week. Chelsea, back over to you.
All right, thanks, Blake. I'm glad those warm temperatures are coming back. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Chelsea Sick. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.